You know, I had too many issues with this book to enjoy it. It was a good book, but I couldn't help my overwhelming issues. I just couldn't get past them. I had so many issues. The story itself was fine. It was my issues. I couldn't get past my issues. Now, this is book. We've only got a couple left. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is book 4. This is book 4 in the series, and we've only got a couple left of before we have to wait a year for the next one. And I don't know. I'll read the next couple, but I don't know if I'm gonna pursue it if it comes out again. I don't know because I'm not comfortable. I have too many issues. All right, so this is the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina, Kristina. Please hit the like and subscribe. One of these days I gotta put that button thingy up. I'm still learning how to do this stuff. I've been doing it over a year now. And for those of you who are new to the channel, please hit the like and subscribe. And those of you who have subscribed, thank you very much. Most appreciative. I am losing subscribers on a daily basis. I'm down 10 subscribers from where I was the other day. So I'm losing subscribers. So obviously I'm doing something wrong. And I'm going through a little bit of a depression. So we'll see what that happens. You're on my notes. I know how much you like paper. Just give me my notes. You can have the rest of the paper. So I've got some ideas coming down the pike. Please check out Flashback Mondays, where we talk about all the lovely books from Romantic Times magazine. Don't forget Star Trek Fridays. I'm a serious person. I like to have character progression from book to book to book. I like to see them grow in the storylines with the characters. And starting March 1st, I've got a new series coming down the pike. If you like this, maybe you'll like this. So if then. I couldn't think of a better title. If something comes along, I will, but right now it's If Then. And the first series up is Regency, and I think the second series up will be some medical thrillers. We'll see. But anyways, we are talking about Death Brings a Shadow. And, oh God, she's got to go off. If those of you who are familiar with my videos, this clock is forever going off. If you watch my New Year's Eve, I identified the culprit. Bing, 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 bing. So it's only 5 o'clock. It's not really, but that's what she binged. So, first off, I will say that I'm a Yankee. I've transplanted elsewhere, but I spent most of my life as a Yankee. And as far as I know, and I haven't found any evidence to the contrary, none of my ancestors owned slaves. They were too poor. And they were in a part of a country that probably didn't have too many of them either. And so, like I said, as far as I know, there were no slaves in the tree. Maybe the one, I don't know. I don't think any of them had slaves, as far as I know. The ones that might have been rich enough were so late in time frame that slavery was totally over by the time these people started. So as far as I know, there's no slaves at all. And I have so many issues with this book, it's not funny. I always think if someone could go back 200 or 300 years and help defend Africa, how would this country have changed? Would we still exist today? Would our way of life still exist today if someone had stopped it before it even happened, defended all those people over in Africa before it even started, before somebody decided that just because you're a different color, I can make you a slave and you have to obey everything I say and do everything I say, and you're just considered property. If we could go back to the 1700s and just before it even starts, go over there and defend those people and prevent any of that stuff from happening from the first place. What kind of country would be? How much would it have changed our history? But anyways, my first big issue with this is that once again, Prudence and Jeffrey have gone away together. They are not married. This is the 1880s. There is no chaperone with them. They are not engaged to be married. There has been no hint. I mean, subtly here and there, but there's been no hint of care. They care for each other, but there's been no hint at a love interest at all. No, not even no romantic. I mean, maybe a hug or two, blah, 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 but there's been no implication as to a relationship. And they're traveling all over the place together. I don't get it. I have read so many books where they have a chaperone or there's an implied relationship. I mean, they're business partners, I guess. But still, it just doesn't make a hill of beans of sense that they would, go all the way down south. It might have taken a week by train to get all the way down there. And during this time frame in the 1880s, I don't. There's just so much of that bothers me. So anyway, apparently, so that was my first issue, and I had it in the last book too. But see, in the last book, the stuff happened off stage. I have this writer who says that when stuff happens on the page, it's considered on stage. And then when you're told about something that has happened or will happen off stage or off the paper, like, oh, Sally went to the post office yesterday, and I'm telling you about it today on the page, you didn't see Sally go to the post office on the page. So that's off stage. So apparently off stage, a friend of Prudence's, and we're not sure how they met or how their friendship was developed or anything like that. But anyway, apparently they're going for a wedding. They're going south with Eleanor so she can marry Theodore Bennett. And apparently Theodore's family was formerly very, very wealthy plantation house slaves, the whole 9 yards. And they are in dire financial straits. So Theodore needed to do the time old thing and go marry someone very, 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 very wealthy. And in the meantime, I don't know how it came to be or how it happened, but Eleanor's family bought the plantation next door and was building a huge house, and supposedly that's how Eleanor and Teddy met. But Eleanor spent most of her life in New York, and she was part of the New York crowd. And that's so Teddy and Eleanor meet, but then they go to New York, they spend some time. Teddy tells his family he's going to marry this girl, he's going to bring all this money in, he's going to save their plantation, he's going to save all this stuff. And then when he brings Eleanor to meet his family, for reasons unknown until the very end of the book, the family goes ballistic, going, no, you cannot marry this girl for XYZ. And they don't actually tell Teddy why. And you are not told why until the very last couple of chapters of the book when the big secret crescendo revealed. So in the meantime, there Eleanor is saying she's uncomfortable, she feels like people are watching her, there's all this stuff going on. And so the problem is, one of the problems, I'm trying to see if this is before. So they're talking about the situation that the one family bought the land next door. Only that when Philip Dixon purchased Bradford Island, he took advantage of the near bankruptcy of the family that had owned it for over 100 years. Plenty of other Southerners claim the lands were confiscated from them during the war. By hard work, they'll manage to hold on to them this time and eventually edge their way back to prosperity. It was unfortunate for the Bennet family that their fate fell into the hands of Teddy's father. He's the worst kind of Southerner, Prudence, a man who believes as firmly in his right to do nothing for the people who depend on him as he does in the sun's promise to rise in the east every morning. They worked it through lawyers, and the single concession Philip Dixon agreed to was that the Bennet family would be allowed to live at Wildacre for as long as they could pay the taxes on it. If they failed to pay the taxes, then he would kick them out. And this is the family that is bought the house, the plantation next door. And this is the family who Teddy is marrying, Eleanor's family. And so that's the original context that you're led to believe is the formation of this. But that very next day, Eleanor is found dead, and Prudence and Joffrey see the body in the swamp water, and they don't understand why she was near the swamp. And they find evidence because they're, especially Joffrey's experience, he was a former Pinkerton, that Eleanor was murdered. But when the coroner and the sheriff come, they declare her death accidental and do not intend to pursue the matter at all. They're just going to let it go. And Prudence is angered by this, that someone has died, and the sheriff and the coroner are just it was an accident, and not hold anyone accountable for it. But let me see if there's any more. So they're grieving. Eleanor is dead, and Prudence goes over to Teddy's family house and sees that the family was more impoverished than they were led to believe. The girls have really older dresses on, the furniture's a little on the downside. So they make that discovery. Then Prudence Teddy wants to bury Eleanor on his land, and his family says no way, and Eleanor's father wants to take her home anyway. So she's going to be buried on their side of and Teddy's just upset with it. And there's just a whole lot of underlying stuff. And as the investigation goes on, people start dying. And every time they try and talk to somebody, after they talk to somebody, somebody ends up dead. And I'm trying to find, I had a really important note that I went ballistic over. I probably won't find it. But So by the end of the book, we have 5 people deceased, and except and no one cares. They absolutely do not care because they were African American descent and the time frame. They do not care, and I share Prudence's anger in the fact that because of this time frame, the 1880s, and I know it continues. There are the people that would like to deny it continues, but organizations like the Ku Klux Klan and others continue to thrive and do whatever they want. Probably it's still today. I don't know, but I know that a lot of people, felt there are certain people that are raised to be racist. You're not born a racist. You get your beliefs and your feelings from whoever raises you, whether it's your parents or grandparents or whoever raises you. If you're raised in a multicultural family, then you will probably grow up a really well-rounded person and be able to work anywhere and with anyone in the world. But if you're raised by a family specifically to hate somebody just because of a color and no other reason, I just don't understand how people could do that. How I had this thing once, I was thinking of this. If you turned all the white people, I mean the really, 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 really hardcore racist people, black for 24 hours, maybe it would give them a taste of their own medicine type situation. Or on the other hand, it could backfire and make things much, much worse. Who knows? But I understand that's the way it was, and that's how people lived and stuff. I know I have this expression if you watch my videos again when I really don't know what to say. It's just. You can fill in the sentence any which way you want. It's just horrible, it's just bad, it's just good, it's just whatever you want. I just go, it's just. When I just really can't make my point, you can make the point and fill in your own word. But by the end of the book, there are 4 people dead, and because of who died, the law will not do anything about it. The law does not care about these people at all. And another thing that's a little creepy, sort of, kind of, I mean, I guess it's okay, because the girls themselves didn't have anything to do with Eleanor's death, but her future sister-in-laws, being the impoverished people they are like, well, she's dead. Can we have her clothes? Because they can't afford to buy their own clothes and they're so impoverished. So they end up taking all of the dead girl's clothes because a lot of the stuff was brand new. Some of it was her wedding trousseau. And her father is so upset and depressed, he doesn't want to pay to ship that all home just to be able to give it away in charities anyway. So he gives it to the girls. So the girls benefit from the whole thing. But there are other people, because when all is revealed, the outcome is different. We have not seen one outcome from these books thus far where the individual is arrested by the police and sent to jail. There's been none of that in any of these books. All 4 of these books, the ending has been different. None of these guys have gone to jail. They've mostly died. But I just, you know, I don't know what to say. I mean, it's a good mystery. It's a whodunit. It's a very multi-layered whodunit. But I'm just frustrated, I guess, by the time period in the South. And I understand that's what it was. and that's accurately reported, that because if a white person kills a black person back then, and even today, we won't even talk about what's going on, but the law didn't care because blacks were considered property at that juncture. And it just, I just can't get past how wrong it was, how horrible it was. Yeah, I know that's the way it was, but I still think it's really horrible. And that was one of my big peeves with the book, because it was the story itself was good, but I just couldn't get past my own issues. Joffrey and Prudence doing all this traveling without a chaperone, without any word of relationship, all that stuff I just said before. And the fact that the African Americans were killed and nobody cared. And they're people, regardless of race or creed or anything else. Where is my little paper here? If you watch my Eve Dallas books, no matter your race, creed, sexual orientation, or political affiliation, we protect and serve because you could get dead. And if you get dead, we will find your murderer and give your family, you know, at least, um, resolution, I guess, reason why. And the why is very multi-layered, and that's why all the other people had to die, because they knew the why, they knew the secret, and they had to go. I don't know why none of those other people that died would have said a word, because they were all too scared. They never would have said it, and everybody knew anyway. But it was just something you just didn't talk about. But the killer decided that he couldn't take the chance, and they all had to go too. So he killed 4 or 5 people, and it's just, I mean, I guess he got what he deserved at the end, sort of, kind of. I think he's going to suffer for a really, really long time. But it's just, like I said, I had too many issues. But we'll move on to the next book and see what happens. I've got a couple other Patterson 9 coming down. We're going to start a couple new series. I'm looking forward to the If Then. I hope you guys like that one when it comes along in March. So please hit the like and subscribe and let me know I'm doing a good job. Because right now, like I said, this keeps up, I'll have no subscribers. I'll be back to 0 in a couple days. So please hit the like and subscribe. And if you subscribe, could you stay subscribed for a while, please? Thank you.